Hi guys, what is going on? And today we are back with more XRL highlights. This time we are around Abu Dhabi for the penultimate round of the season. Now, before we get into it, I'm going to do a quick shout out. And the shout out goes to Jack, also known as BeatBoxCrazy. He is my business partner for Audacity, and I'm going to give him a shout out because he does my thumbnails, and I did say I'd give him a shout out weeks ago, but I just completely forgot. But now seems like a good time to do the shout out because on the 21st, which is Father's Day, he is doing a 24-hour live stream for a good cause. It's a charity stream for November, obviously to support Father's Day. So yeah, go check it out, and I'll be in the chat so we can have some fun and just watch him be bad at games, really. So anyway, on to Abu Dhabi. And yeah, I did do the dev race again this week for some good practice, and it was a really eventful race, but this was the highlight of it. I come out of the pit and I crash, lose my front wing, think, right, I'm not going to hold these guys up, I'm just going to let them pass, and literally within 2 seconds the game disqualifies me, so that was me out of Q2 and I automatically start 15th. But yeah, the race itself was actually a really eventful one, so I might put that into another video, but that is if you guys want to see it. So if you do, obviously drop a comment and just say, yeah, we want to see it, and I'll make it happen. So as we go on to the X3 race, which is the main reason why everyone's here, obviously, I made sure I practiced the pit lane going into this qualifying session, and yeah, as you can tell, I didn't make an absolute mess of it this time, but I did quite a bit of practice, especially in like 1 lap times, and they weren't that competitive, but I felt comfortable to at least make it to kind of Q2 and, I don't know, be around 12th at best, I reckon. But as you can see, the start of this lap wasn't that brilliant. You know, the first sector I took very cautious, and I know I can do a lot better in that sector, especially, you know, trying to go flat around turn 2 and 3, which I didn't quite do. And then going into this third sector, I missed the apex there coming off for the second straight, and that was kind of how my race summed up. Final corner, not too bad, I guess, but so I come across the line, it was a 38 flat, which was enough for like last place pretty much, and I knew I obviously had to do so much better. But I put too much fuel in the car, so I thought, you know what, I'll go for another one, take turn 1 with a lot more aggression, and well, I just cut the corner, so that wasn't ideal. That's that lap out of the way. And so on to attempt number 3, just missed that apex, but it was a lot better than the first time, and yeah, that's the corner cut because I just took it a bit too aggressively, and yeah, I've just got to try and save my ERS now and go for another one, which I do. And as you can see, the first sector was a lot better. I flung it in through turn 2 and 3. I actually had the bollocks to do it this time, and as you can see, by like the end of the first sector, I'm close to being up like half a second already, so that was a good start to the lap. And then the rest of the lap followed, so coming out of the second chicane, decent exit, didn't really lose much in terms of the back end. And then, you know, coming out of the second straight, missed the apex slightly there, but the rest of this complex was pretty good, and I'm basically up by a second as fast as Cargo bins it on his cooldown lap. Feels bad for him, but the third sector wasn't that great, and I knew I had to put it all on the line, but just turned in too slightly for the second to last corner, and then that was it. That's me done. And I didn't have enough ERS to do another lap, and I didn't have enough time to do a cooldown in another one, especially with the tyres, so that is me spat bang last place, which obviously I didn't really expect, and I didn't exactly want it, but oh well, we can only go up from here. And here are the results from Q2 and Q3, so Alan on pole again. He's lightning quick as our Alan. But as for the race strategy for me, I'm going to start on the mediums, and I'm going to do 2 medium runs instead of 2 soft runs, because I really dislike the soft tyre as a race tyre. It's really slow, so you know, you've got like 2, maybe 3 laps in it where the tyre is good, and then after that it just drops off so fast, and I'd rather have a tyre that's consistent so I can be consistent. But as the lights come on, I start in last place, and away we go, and straight away I've just done both of the McLarens, and then Boothie comes sweeping across the track. I almost get collected there, and then there's another incident with the other Red Bull on the outside, so I take the inside, but I turned in slightly too early, and it meant that I had to readjust slightly, which meant that I ended up turning in too late. had the contact with Entity, I spin, hit the wall, lose my front wing, and get a 5-second penalty because it was technically in the VSC because Snake is out of the race. So what was a good initial getaway is in last place with half a front wing. But straight away off of the restart of the VSC, I do Stumpy up the inside, caught him napping a bit there, and then I'm all over Boothie, and I'm hoping to try and use my slipstream to get past him, but because of my front wing, I'm not looking very good on downforce, and I've got Stumpy that might come back on me. I try to go around the outside of Boothie, not going to work, and then I've got Stumpy, he has to back out there, and then Whippy has had an incident there as well from lap 1. So it's all kicking off already, and we're only 2 sectors into the Grand Prix. But at this point I am starting to feel the effects of my front wing as Whippy tries to get back past me straight away, and then Stumpy tries to do me as well. It's not really going to work there into the hotel section, and I get past them both. I think Whippy's back down to last place here, but I am starting to feel the effects of my front wing, and I'm not sure whether to pit or not. So instead of just boxing and getting rid of these tyres, I wanted to try and see how it would work over the course of the lap, how the car would feel. And my answer to that question is not very well, as the car feels awful, but Whippy tries to do me around the outside of that chicane, and I really thought he had it when it then switched to him having the inside, but he backs out of it, so fair play I guess. But he then tries to go around the outside after the second straight, and at this point I really thought he had the move done, but he backs out of it, which I was a bit unsure why. But as you can tell by me going wide there, it just confirms that I'm not happy with the car as it is. I'm not happy with how the front wing is, as he tries to go up the inside there, not really too sure how that works, and then I brake on the curb and just lose all kind of position. But Boothie's then spun on the inside there, so I guess that's another position gained for me and Whippy. But I'm just boxing, I'm getting off of these tyres and a new front wing. I've had enough. As Jazala retires and causes another virtual safety car, so that means I get a kind of like a half of a free pit stop, but I've got my 5 seconds to serve. I'm changing my front wings. It's going to take a while to actually do this pit stop. But I pit onto a set of hards, which I'd never actually run the hards at all this weekend, but after realising that I can't exactly do 2 stops again, I need to run a harder tyre, and I just lose the back end at turn 2 because I don't feel comfortable on these tyres at all, and that completely throws me off. And now we've got a safety car, which I'm pretty sure was because of me, which obviously I've got a box again, but at least I can box into the safety car and be right behind these guys, so it could have been worse. But I've pitted, I've got a new front wing, I've got the medium tyres on again, so I feel a bit better. And as we come to the restart, Stumpy there almost loses the back end, so I thought I could have had a little run onto him in the final corner, but he ends up shutting the door slightly, but it's fair. And as I'm trying to gain a bit of momentum to try and fight my way up the field, Fiend there has had an accident coming out of turn 3, so that's me up to 17th straight away. And as you can see here, it's jostling for positions all up in front of me. Blake comes out of that corner really slow, and I just go round the outside. I'm like, thank you very much, that's an easy place for me. And at this stage, it's just what I'm expecting to happen. You know, cars go off left, right and centre, like Entity's just gone off at turn 3 again, and I'm just going past them all, kind of keeping tabs with Boothie and Stumpy in front of me, kind of trying to follow them through the field whilst everyone else is spinning. I'm happy to do that. And I mean, just look at this fucking train that we got right now. I mean, you've got fastest cargoes on the hards trying to get past an Alpha. We're just like a swarm of bees just trying to get fucking flower. As Retro slows down there, he must have wing damage, and I take him and Stumpy in one go. I'm not too sure if that beats my double overtake from Brazil, but it's pretty fucking close, because that was beautiful in my opinion. And as fastest cargo in another car pit, I think it was Ballistic, I'm now up to 11th place, which, considering I was last at the start of this restart like 2 laps ago, I'm carving my way through the field quite well, if I do say so myself. And can I just point out, the reason I broke so late there and went slightly wide was because the 100 metre board's gone, and that is a trend throughout this race. All of the braking markers seem to be disappearing, and I don't know who it is. It must be a racing line user that thinks it's funny, but they need to cut it out, because I don't have a clue where to brake, as Retro does get me round the outside there into that complex. Fair play to him, which puts me down to 12th, but someone else pitted to put me back up into 11th. But I'm on my defensive now at this point because Stumpy's just sending one up my inside. Nice controlled dive bomb there. Very nice overtake from him. I can't really complain about that one, but I'm going to try and get him back going into this next set of corners, and coming off the second straight, I'm going to try and go round his outside, brake slightly later than him, and just make the move stick. So I'm back up into 11th place, but that was a really good little battle with Stumpy. But I'm hoping it continues a little bit more because I am enjoying it. But there's a yellow flag and a safety car as Whippy's out of the race and Classic's now out of the race. Oh my god, what has happened there?
So much grip for his last sector. There's no way to get past.
Stumpy's
He's in the
so
wall! No, I've hit him! I'm out! Oh my god!
Wait, Whippy's out. You're out. What?
Yeah, I hit him.
Oh no.
I couldn't avoid it. I couldn't avoid it.
So yeah, Classic is now out of the race, which is a big shame because he was our best chance at points. You know, he was running in 7th, surrounded by both alphas, and it was looking like a really good battle. And then Whippy just running a bit too wide in the hotel, and that's Classic out the race. He couldn't avoid that at all, which obviously sucks. But for me, up into P6 now because a couple of people have pitted, and for the rest of the lap we were really debating whether to pit or not, but Classic decided that the best idea for me to do was to actually box and put on the tyres from lap 1 and 2 and basically run to the end, which was the right call in hindsight, but at the time it was really kind of, is it the right call, is it not? I was really unsure. But that puts me into 10th, and I know cars in front of me have to pit, so I'm looking good running to the end. And as the safety car comes in, I end up running wide there, have to avoid Retro, and that's basically screwed my restart. I am obviously miles away from everyone now. But as we go into turn 5, Elite Hakkinen has to run wide because there's an altercation with fastest car going. Boothie is facing the wrong way, so I'm not too sure what happened there, but I'm up into 9th place now, and everyone in front of me is kind of looking a bit dicey. And I've got ES Fiend all over me. He tries to go around the outside. I know he's quicker, so I'll brake slightly earlier and basically let him go through, and I really wanted to try and follow him through. I mean, I say this every week, but right now I feel it's my best chance to follow him through and basically use him as braking markers, because I don't have any braking markers myself because everyone keeps on taking them out. But fastest cargo pits, which puts me back into 9th place, and now Jeb, who's the other alpha, is now out of the race, and that means that neither of them will score any points this race. So all I have to do is get 9th place and we are ahead in the standings, which for us is all we need. But on the second straight here, I've got Stumpy coming up. I decide to take the inside line as my defensive move. He hits me up the arse, doesn't get any wing damage though, so it's fair game. He tries to run the outside, I cut him off completely, and then he spins behind me, which I didn't feel any contact, so I was presuming it wasn't my fault. So here is his POV anyway. As you can see, I've made my one defensive move, small contact there, but it's fair. And then he does try and go round the outside. I basically have none of it, and then he gets the smallest of tap from behind by Blake, but Blake comes out worse off, and for me that's just ideal, because if they're battling behind me, it gives me a little bit of breathing space so I can just focus on in front of me and not have to worry about defending. But me doing nice little drifts like that and nearly losing the car completely isn't going to help my cause. But as we start lap 20, 3 cars in front of me have pitted, which then puts me up into P5, so I'm really on a defensive packs now. Like, I'm in a good position, I'm running to the end, I've got 9 laps to go. I just need to look after my tyres and defend for my life. I shell as Stumpy tries to go around the outside there, but I did just enough there to make sure that he didn't get past, and at this stage he is trying to look like he's going to try and get the run and go for me again. I pick the inside line, he tries to run it around the outside, and again he can't quite get the move stick, so 8 more laps of that and I'm okay. But he sends it up my inside going into turn 5 again. Can't really make that stick, tries to switch back for the hairpin, but I've got the advantage here, and as he runs slightly wide, now I've got Rem involved, and I think it's Alan. It's becoming a four-way fight here for 5th place. But Stumpy was so much quicker off the corner that he's already passed me, and now Rem's got a runner, is going to try and go between the two of us. Deary, deary me. I'm going to talk about the incident at the end of the race, but at this point, I've got no front wing. I'm just losing positions left, right and centre. I've lost 8th place, then I've lost 9th place to Phantom, and at this point I box, get a new front wing and a set of soft tyres. So I'm out of the points, and I'm just kind of hoping for fastest lap really. But the lap I did was 2/10 off of the fastest, and I'm at 22% here on my rears, so I think, well, I've got another spare set of softs that are fresh. I might as well pit and try again instead of chasing down the 2 Red Bulls to try and overtake them. I thought that that was my best shout of getting points. But literally half a lap later, Rats bins out at the final corner, so that would have put me up to 11th place, and I am questioning whether going on to the soft was the right idea, because that means I would have been in 11th and I would have only had to overtake one of the Red Bulls to get points. And then this right here just cements the fact that I've got to go about 1.2 seconds quicker to then get the fastest lap outside the top 10. Well, it'll be the fastest lap of the race, so I know I've got to do a good lap to even have a chance at that. But after a purple first sector, and I've got DRS and a bit of slipstream from Ballistic, I'm looking forward, and I'm hoping that this lap will be enough. But as we go to the chicane, Ballistic just brakes so late and actually retires from the race there, which at the time was really frustrating because I'm trying to do a fastest lap and he's just cost me a bit of time. Now fastest cargo was caught up to me because of that, and I'm now down on my delta, so at this point I'm really miffed off, and I just give up on the lap and give up on the place, slow down and then come back for another one. And obviously now this is the final lap of the race, so I know it's got to count, and my first sector again was purple, so it's a promising start. I just need to continue that throughout the rest of the lap. But I actually lost 2/10 in the second sector, so I'm now just about 4/10 up, so I've got to make sure that this final sector is a proper good one. And I am pushing so hard to try and get this final sector right, and I just run slightly wide at the hotel and I'm out. Both Toro Rossos, both Alphas out in the hotel section. It claims another victim. So yeah, that's it. That's the race. Here's the results. Obviously before penalties are applied, but gonna show the incident now. Here is from Classic Stream and basically my live reaction. Holy shit me. I'm gonna overtake him by the mall here. Fucking Rem!
Oh!
Fucking hell! I had no way of stopping then. Was that me? Did I turn? And now the actual live stream POV.
They all have DRS on each other. Well, I don't think Fratters does. So Stumpy Steam on the outside. Here comes XRL Rim. He wants to make something happen. Oh! And he made contact! And that's contact again! And that's Rim is going to struggle real badly. Not Rim. Fratter is going to struggle real badly there. And that's actually going to damage the front wing of that car.
So yeah, obviously, bit of a mess. My first reaction was, what the fuck, Rem? But straight afterwards, I was just like, was it me that actually caused that? Because I was unsure, and from Classic's point of view, it does look like I move over to the right, and from my point of view, I do move to the right ever so slightly, but from the live stream point of view, it looks like Rem moves to the left a little bit, and from Stumpy's POV in the mirror, it does look like we've come together, and Stumpy just ends up getting collected, and there's nothing more he can really do about it. So end of the day, I was the biggest loser out of it. The stewards decided that it was my fault because I did move to the right. I can't really complain with that because obviously I did move to the right a little bit, but I kind of put it down to a bit of a racing incident because the straight just drifts over to the left slightly, you know, 3 into 1, doesn't really go, and Rem obviously didn't really move at all. So, but yeah, from my point of view, racing incident, I think Rem agreed that it was a racing incident, but I'm not going to bother appeal it, there's no point, I'm out of the race anyway. So here's the standings. Rem has done enough to win the title, so congrats to him. Snake obviously dumping, doesn't make a difference in the standings whatsoever. I'm still sat in 13th after a non-point score finish. Now as for the constructors, there was a big mess with the reserves points dating back to like Belgium, so it looks very different to what it is now. Renault still in first, Mercedes though jump all the way up to second, Red Bull drop to third, and Haas go up to 8th, which means that our battle with Alpha is now over 9th place, and we're still 1 point in it. Nothing changes between us, but Haas just leapfrogs us both. But as a whole, bit of a disappointing race. I think Classic had the pace there. He was running in 7th with the Alphas surrounding him to try and get some good points. Obviously the Alphas as well were running quite decent pace, and they obviously both binned it as well. So when you look at everything that was happening around me and in front of me, I was making good places and I was in 5th, and I had a chance to kind of hold on to the lower end of the points should Stumpy and then Rem get past me, and then Alan, because obviously Alan was fucking speedy as fuck. But yeah, I just ended up in an incident that I shouldn't have been in, and it just meant that any chance of points was gone really. So we're still 1 point in it going into France, and hopefully we can have a much better showing. I think when you look at the previous time we tried France, I was running like 7th or 6th, and just before the game crashed, and I was looking pretty decent. It was obviously raining, but I felt good and I felt like I could go forward. So if I do the same again this time, who knows, I might be able to get some cheeky points. But for now, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to leave you with my reaction to crashing on the fastest lap. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all later. Oh, bollocks. Oh, I was trying to push it. I was about 5/10 off. Ah.
It was win it or bin it. Had to be done.
It had to be done.